I am no fan of overly political slacktivists indoctrinating children, and this title right here is enough to give me a massive fucking aneurysm. Children should never be subjected to identity politics, in my opinion, ever. But I'm sure that the rest of us can agree that young children should never be subjected to it. Instead, merit should be valued before an arbitrary unit of measurement like skin color. But I digress. God knows you're going to fuck the identity politics turkey. And here we go. Just so you know, you limp-dicked asshole, the correct answer to a 4-year-old when they ask how many people can be their best friends is as many as you'd like. Kids are fleeting, their lives yet blatantly scarred by the horrors of adult life. But you plan to ruin this with your intent to inject an adult matter, in this case, politics and identity politics at that, into this youth's mind. We have a term for this, you fucking asshat. We call this indoctrination, you fucking turbotard. And I'm sure someone would say, well, he's just trying to explain racism. But, and here's a novel idea, we don't let a 4-year-old know about the reality of mankind, that evil exists, until they're a wee bit older. Oh, and also we don't get them to hate an entire group of people based on the fucking color of their skin, because that is actually fucking racist. Anyway, I can only imagine where your son saw these images of violence. I can only assume you subjected him to these, you insufferable little cunt. But alas, I'm getting angrier than I really should. But you'll drool on your keyboard a little more. And let me iterate this slowly for you, slowped. Just because an election of someone who is right-wing happened doesn't mean that the Civil War or the Civil Rights Movement never fucking happened. Trump didn't step up on the podium on Inauguration Day and say, you know what, let's revert back to pre-Civil War America, because fuck them. But I'm sure you think that way, you slack-jawed turbotard. No, let's create a new massive divide between the races because you can't deal with the simple fact that not everyone who isn't a regressive, leftist, identitarian, drooly cunt lord is racist. I can't believe that this has to be said, but I imagine that if I was this guy, I'd have on those extra thick race glasses as well. Here's the reality, people. As a whole, as the human race, are all the same on the inside. If I cut open a white person, an Asian, a Latino, a black, a fucking ginger even, they all bleed red. Get the fuck over it. And stop making blanketed statements against a race just because you can't deal with the fact that you fucking lost, despite the obvious implications of your candidate being absolute dog shit. But let's not pretend like this isn't going to get worse. After all, you basically stated here that black and whites can't be friends. Are you even trying to hide your flagrant racism at this point? I'm not one for identity politics. I loathe it. I find it idiotic and completely irrelevant. However, when some dumb shit decides to look down at others from a presumed high horse while being racist as fuck, and on top of that, referencing pre-civil rights America, I can't help but become a little perturbed. So this begs the question, did you not learn history? Oh, who am I kidding? These days, minorities have no agencies. Whites do all the wrongs. I'm sure that'll go over well as a thought process for your son. In no way, shape, or form can that end badly. For fuck's sake, dude, they're just fucking kids. They don't get slavery. They don't get power plus oppression or whatever else you're spewing from your insipid mouth. The pig's tongue waggling behind teeth constructed of pure fucking racism and idiocy. Martin Luther King is doing a fucking somersault in his grave right now, for fuck's sake. But of course, he goes on, completely ignoring a simple premise. The sins of the father are not passed to the son. Or, in other words, a white person today cannot be held accountable for the actions of their ancestors. Much in the same regard that you are not responsible for this, simply based upon your skin color. As for the opioid issue, I'm going to give a little perspective. I come from small town America, in a mostly white town. Guess what the cops look for? Meth and opioids, because that's incredibly common in that demographic. I also noticed that you didn't cite any sources whatsoever for the claim that doctors underprescribe pain medication to African Americans. So they underprescribe it, and the African Americans don't get addicted as much. Is that good or bad in your view? What if the doctor is black? 404 logic not found. Also, there is nothing stopping blacks from, not getting addicted. They could not do drugs. They could not sell drugs and get caught by police. But as to why opioids get more attention, it's simply, well, they came out of nowhere, as you can see here. And they kill so much more often than any other drugs, mainly, well, whites, realistically, and also due to the fact that it does have such a high rate for overdoses, but you can see that here. So naturally, more white people are going to be dealing with the issues. And since it's an issue of death, it gets a bit of attention. However, I do realize that I go over this on this paragraph by paragraph. I'll be here all goddamn day. So I'm going to jump around a bit and hit on some glaring stupidity. So here are a few hot takes. Where do I start with this? I want you to name one thing that he has said that is racist. Must be very difficult to find that, I'm sure. But wait. I forgot about that one speech where he said, "I hate those damn darkies." Oh wait, that never fucking happened. But let's take a look at something that did happen. How about something as simple as these two in Trump's cabinet? Yeah, if he's really that the white supremacist you seem to constantly try to attribute him to being, well, he's doing a fucking terrible job at it. And wanting law and order doesn't make you a racist. It makes you a common sense individual, because without law and order, you have anarchy or mob rule, which never fucking works. Also, I highly doubt 4-year-old boys commit a whole lot of crime. Just putting that out there. And you do realize that not all white people voted for Trump. Not all white people like him. The funny part about this is he's probably, and this is conjecture, but he's probably the same asshole that'll hop right on the not all hashtag after a terror attack. The hypocrisy being that terror attack can happen, and they happen, not say often, but they do happen on a regular basis, it does seem. And he'll say, well, not all Muslims and members of Islam are like this, but just because a percentage of white people voted for Trump, that means that every white person is inculcated into that, into the blame for that. Yeah, grade A hypocrisy right there. Also, I like to point out that Trump did better with black voters than Romney did, as you can see here. Not a whole lot better, but still better. You can also draw from this that blacks are more likely to vote for a president who is, well, black. But that's another discussion for another time. And with that, I feel like I can leave the rest of the article where it belongs, in a flaming pile of dog shit. The reality is, skin color is just that, the color of your skin. Instead of pushing narrative that further drives a wedge between races, and genders for that matter, to the writer of this article, leave your son out of your half-witted attempts at pseudo-intellectualism. Your new age regressive thought process will only drive him towards being, well, just like you. A vile racist who thinks all whites are a monolith without being able to realize his head is so far up his own ass he can't even hear another opinion. But I have let this go on long enough. As always, sources in the description, as well as a link to the original article. If you really, 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 really want to up your dose of cancer for the fucking day, like and subscribe if you wish to do so. And I will see you cunts next week of the response video. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and or night. I'll see you later.